Thanks for tuning in to the next feature of the Small Business Showcase. I'm your host, B-rad, and we have a special guest today. It's one of our sponsors. We have Leanne with a New Hope Counseling. Don't forget, use the word showcase so you can get a free intake, and she could definitely help you out here. Shout out to the rest of our sponsors, Brandy with Pendleton Heating and Cooling, Carrie with I Heart Mac and Cheese, both in Colorado Springs, Woodman, and Pueblo. Nathan with Snooze AM Eatery, Nerdsalgia in the Citadel Mall with Griffin. Just use the word showcase for your character pens. It'd be $5 instead of $8. And then all the others have some great ones. Down in Pueblo, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Fallon, with Roots and Nose as well. I know I only mentioned a couple of the showcase codes, but Showcase does help you with all of them. We'll have those at the end of the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like. So we're going to start with Leanne's story today. How are you doing today, Leanne?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great. So how did all this start? What's the adventure that led you to where you are today?
That's an interesting adventure, actually. Well, what led me here was my own struggles with addiction and working through all of that. And I ended up having to do a whole bunch of community service for an agency that was a DUI agency back in the day. And they ended up having me kind of run the office and kind of do all of that as part of my community service. And I really enjoyed helping people, and it helped me to get sober. So I was like, well, this is what I want to do. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to take it seriously, and I'm going to put all into it. So I got sober, went back to school, and started working in the field. Rena, who is my business partner, we have been working together since then. Every agency that I've been to or that she's been to, we've been to together. Like if I went somewhere, she would follow me and she would come with me, or if she went somewhere, I would follow her and go with her. And so in 2017, or 18, we decided to do this together and come into this agency. The lady who owned Courage to Change and Soaring Hope, so she was Courage to Change inpatient, and Soaring Hope was kind of the outpatient side of it. She's the one that got me introduced into Lens, but we worked for her at that time, and so she ended up selling us the company, and then we started growing a New Hope Counseling.
That's awesome. Congratulations. And how long have you been sober now?
Since 2010.
Congratulations.
Yep.
So
419.
16 years.
Yep. 419, 2010.
You didn't want to wait to 420, huh?
No, that was the point. I did it the day before to test my, I like to say to test my gangster, but just to test me to make sure that I knew that I wasn't going to use no more. I was done. So,
do you want to mention at all like any of your drugs of choice, or do you want to kind of leave that alone?
It doesn't matter to me. Any drug you could think of.
You sound like me.
So I didn't have any discrimination against what kind of substances I would use. So,
as long as it made you, quote unquote, what we thought felt good,
Yeah.
I'm 10 years, going on 10 years myself. May 8th of 2027 would be my 10-year anniversary.
Very
Wanted to say 26, but nope, it's 27.
Congratulations.
That's awesome. Same thing, everything you could think of.
I didn't have any discriminations against it. Marijuana was probably the hardest for me to stop because I was using that from like age 7 until I was 30. So that one was pretty hard, but yeah.
So you're no alcohol, no weed, no nothing. You're 100% straight. 100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still do weed and got my medical card. So congratulations on that, because I don't know. There's too much stress in life for me to go, but I didn't actually touch stuff until I was 21. So I went through all the adolescent years dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
You said you were 7 when you started the weed?
Yeah.
Oh, I can only imagine my mom flipping out, because she was flipping out when I started drinking.
I found it in my mom's bedroom, so
she couldn't say anything there.
No.
So what inspired you then to truly become fully clean like that and show your gangster? Because everyone has that little aha moment. I still remember mine.
Yeah. That aha moment was just, I was tired of all of the stuff I kept going through. I was homeless, living in my car, just tired of things. Legal troubles and issues with my ex. And I knew that I wanted something better. And so an incident happened that made me realize that I'm not going to go into. An incident happened that made me realize I definitely deserve better than what I was putting myself through. And so I quit cold turkey. And then when I ended up doing that community service, it kind of helped me gather like the support that I needed by being involved in an agency that kind of helps with all of that. I was around nothing but sober people. So my thing is, if you want to, whoever you surround yourself around is what you become. So I surrounded myself around sober people.
That is 100% true. So my aha moment was kind of similar. I knew that I was constantly being jobless. My last job, I was at a call center and I gave someone $1,000 credit. And when they replayed the call, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm tweaking on this call. And that was kind of aha moment. And then my best friend Jesse that passed away, he's like, I said, I just haven't truly found my reason yet. And he's like, well, obviously you keep going homeless and jobless and stuff. You're just too much of a B word to quit. And I'm like, okay. And I handed it to him and said, I'm done. And then I accidentally took 2 hits of acid because this girl dropped Mentos on the ground and I'm an a-hole and I picked up the Mentos, threw it in my mouth. And I'm like, haha, I took, you have 1 less Mentos. She goes, that's like 2 hits of acid.
Oh, Lord.
I said, I've done shrooms. I've never done acid. So I do believe psychedelics can help with mentally and stuff like that. Because after that, I never touched it again. Went cold turkey, got my dog Mellow to help with that. So,
Good.
How does it feel to be able to help people get their own paths now that you are helping people now?
It feels really good. I mean, I do it for them, not for myself, but I just know that if I can do this, anybody can do this. And sometimes we just need somebody who will believe in us, who'll be there for us and truly want to help. So I like it.
That's awesome. So you bought the company in 2017, correct? Or
We
was that
ass-
when you started?
We assumed it. We didn't have to buy it. She kind of we transferred ownership to me and Rena.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
So you're coming up on the 10-year anniversary now.
Yes.
How has it felt being a business owner, doing this for 10 years? And is there ever a time where you're like, you almost gave up? And any advice for any entrepreneurs that may be watching this video?
Not giving up, but it's the main thing that I always tell people we need to focus on is our self-care and making sure we're taking care of ourselves in the months of doing this because it's exhausting. Being a business owner and also working in the field because we don't just own the business, we also help treat clients too. So even though we're doing all the business stuff to keep the business running, we also are seeing clients, Rena and I both, as we're running the business. So self-care is huge, making sure we're taking care of our own mental space because if not, we wouldn't be able to help anybody.
And you're still going to school too, on top of it too.
Yes. Will be done in November with my master's. Thank God.
And I got to give you props for everything from your story because me and Leanne have met each other way before I started the showcase. And just to see everything you do, hearing your story in full versus our fast platform back in the day, and the fact that you're still in school and taking care of kids, being a grandma, like it's amazing of what you do. And you really are an inspiration.
Because I just trying to keep living my life, the best that I can, living my best self. So
any advice you have for anyone that may be listening right now?
If you need help, reach out, ask for it. We're here. There's a lot of other resources out there, the crisis center. Just don't be afraid to reach out. There's somebody out there who will help you.
And if you're not going to quit on a good day, don't quit on a bad day. This was told me when I started being an entrepreneur, but that can also be implied in your life too, because there are days that are better than others. If you're not going to give up on a good day, don't give up on a bad day. Give Leanne here a call. What is the contact number that they can reach out to you guys?
You can reach out at 719-896-5163. That's the office number. And then you can always reach out on my personal or my work cell. My work cell is 719-233-2967.
Perfect. And we're getting ready to do something interesting here. So she's going to talk about how she helps in DUI and talk about Lynn's treatment. That's why this creepy head is sitting right here. It's part of the treatment we're about to do. And I will be, I'm assuming, hooked up to these wires.
Yes.
She says that for 30 minutes, I'm going to have my eyes closed. So my amazing Art Matters production owner, Dominique, who does our productions and everything, is going to be kind of asking the questions and going forward in the second part because I basically have to shut up and keep my eyes closed, to put it lightly, correct?
It's going to be hard for you.
No, yeah, it is. Because I don't hush up, and even Dominique can vouch that I never shut up.
And his little girlfriend head next to him is kind of all the lens treatment sites that we'll be doing on his head today.
And her name's Bree.
There you go, Bree. There you go.
All right, so we're back with the small business showcase here, and we're getting ready to do Bree and put these wires on me. And so I'm gonna turn it over to Leanne, and then of course Dominique's gonna be asking questions from behind the camera as well, because yeah, I'm supposed to sit here, be quiet, and have my eyes closed. So on to you, Leanne.
So we're going to do low energy neurofeedback, which is lens treatments. Lens treatments is where it's kind of like your brain is like our computer, right? And sometimes when our computer gets bogged down and congested, it doesn't run very good anymore, right? It's literally it's dropping signals, it's going really slow. Kind of like our brain when we have any kind of things going in our brain like PTSD, depression, anxiety, we're having a lot of negative things happening to us. It creates that congestion in our brain. And so lens is kind of like when you reset your computer and then you turn it back on, it starts running a lot better. It starts to free up stuff or getting the junk out of there. Lens treatments does that. It's kind of like a reset for the brain. So we go in and we communicate with the neurotransmitters and say, clear up that junk, get those neurotransmitters firing again, and then you start to have less anxiety, less PTSD. You feel more clear headed, more focused, and more energy. And then it helps with sleep as well. So.
Nice. So, how long does this treatment typically take?
So we schedule appointments for 30 minutes, is how long they should, the appointment is scheduled for. I schedule them for an hour because I realize a lot of people that I work with have a lot of things that they want to talk about or need to talk about. But the actual treatment itself shouldn't take no more than 5 to 6 minutes, depending on how many sites you're treating at a time.
Okay, so with the sites, I know you mentioned earlier that you
Mhm.
do 2 at a time.
Yes.
Why is that?
So we have a 2 channels machine, so
Okay.
we can do 2 at a site, or 2 sites at a time because it's a 2 channel machine. They used to only have 1 channel where you can only do 1 side at a time, but we have a 2 channel. And there's other treatments that are kind of like lens out there. I think it's called TMS that you could a whole cap on your head and treat them all at the same time. This is a little less. I say less invasive. It's probably a bad word for it, but this is kind of calmer. We don't watch anything, and while doing it, we close our eyes, clear our mind, try not to think about much as we're doing the treatment, so it can just get in there and really do what it needs to do.
This is the hardest part is for me to try to shut off my brain in general.
I always say it's harder. That's even harder to do than people imagine.
Yeah, and especially for this guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, like, what can people possibly experience during, like, as the person getting wired up?
Mhm.
Like, what could they possibly experience?
So you should not feel anything outside of what you're feeling in the moment of what you're sitting here. You can't really feel lens treatments. It's a low radio wave that communicates with the neurotransmitters. Just like you can't feel the microwave while it's turned on, you can't feel the lens while it's turned on. There are a small percentage of people that may be sensitive to it, and so the most you can feel then is like maybe a pulsing at like site where you're treating it. And then sometimes the things we want to look for is like if your eye starts twitching or you're getting a bounce of energy or you're wired or tired, those things are also things that you could possibly feel. And I always tell everybody, and I'm telling you when we do your map right now, is that if you feel anything outside of what you're feeling in your body right this moment, just kindly let me know and I'll let you know if that's something we need to stop or if it's not. Sometimes like if your eye starts twitching or doing those different type of things, it's just your brain signaling, hey, that's enough for today. We'll come back and try again later.
You know, you rhymed with wired and tired, right?
Yeah. I did that on purpose. That's the thing is you're either going to be wired or tired.
Wow. So is this just a one and done treatment or is this like a series?
Great question. So it really depends on, it's a series. There's not I can't say none because there was one person I did one treatment on and she was fine afterwards, but that's not as likely. Usually you do a map first and the map is still a treatment. It's all the sites, all 21 sites for 100% at 2 seconds, 100% is the lowest setting. And then after that, we'll get a brain map showing us what sites are suppressed and what sites aren't. And it's like a map on showing us where we go for the next treatment. So if somebody is doing lens after having a lifelong functioning with no issues, and then just something sudden happened that's causing them complications or issues, usually lens will work quicker and they'll come in for like maybe 10 to 20 sessions. Now, if it's somebody that has been dealing with complications like depression or anxiety or PTSD since they were little, it could be up to 100 sessions. So it really
I'd probably
just
be on the
depends.
100 sessions then.
Maybe. Well, you would be surprised. Some people would think that, but sometimes it's just, it really just depends on the brain. Everybody's brain's different, so I have no idea what your brain is going to do compared to yours until we do it. One lady came in, she had an accident on the highway, had really bad anxiety about driving up the pass. We did one treatment and she came back and was like, I can drive up the pass, I'm fine. And I was like, whoa, 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 what? But it was because it was something that happened suddenly, and the MAP treatment corrected it right away. So it just really depends.
Nice. And so I know this question will probably pop up in the comments, but people who want to partake in this treatment, how can they pay for it? Is it covered through insurance, or can it be covered through insurance, and things like that?
Another great question. So we are, Medicaid does cover it because it's not evidence-based. Unfortunately, we don't take private insurance ourselves, but we do accept Medicaid. So if somebody came in and wanted to get lens and they had Medicaid, they would have to do an intake, fill out the intake paperwork, complete the Medicaid process as well, complete the assessments. Medicaid doesn't just cover just because you have Medicaid, you have to meet criteria. I can't say what that is because everybody will be crazy about it, but you have to meet criteria in order to do it. So the assessments would be completed. Those would determine if you meet the criteria or not. But no worry, because if you don't meet criteria, we have a really great self-pay rate. I think most agencies are charging a good anywhere from 100 to 200 a session. We only charge 50.
Wow.
And then we have a special too that if you buy 3 or buy 2, you get 1 free. So that ends up being like less than $16 a session. So it really just depends.
Nice.
We're here to try to help people not get in their pocket. So
Yep, but you still also have to make money for yourself as
You
well,
do.
because you
You
have
do.
living expenses and
Yep.
business expenses as
but
well.
it does not need to be $200 a treatment.
No, I will agree on that.
That's just my opinion though.
I mean, but that's how a lot of treatments are, like, and I have seen it where, I looked at, because my insurance kind of pays for a little bit of everything, and I've seen the bills later. It's like, dang.
It's crazy. So we charge a little less than what insurance would charge.
Okay.
So we're kind of on the cusp of it.
Nice.
So try to keep it still, within what we would get if Medicaid would cover it.
Yeah.
It's kind of close to what the self-pay rate is too.
Okay.
So.
That's perfect. So I see that you have a mannequin.
Yes.
Now we named her Bree.
Yes, Miss Bree here.
And do you want to kind of explain to us what was on her head and what's happening?
So these are the 21 points that we treat for low energy neurofeedback. And this is what Miss Judith Miller gave me when I first started doing lens to help me remember where the sites are. And so you have the front site, the frontal sites, the middle sites here. This is the motor strip, and then you have the back sites, and then these ones are all the sleep sites. So this is just to help me remember, even though now I have them memorized, where and know where the sites are.
Okay. Nice.
So Bree is definitely, she's my co-pilot today. And
she comes in handy.
She's going to help you guys see too what sites we're on. So
awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and dive into this treatment. I guess pretty much anything that we see happening with B-rad or whatever, 100% is going to be 100% real. This is not fake. So if something does happen and you are kind of sensitive to certain things, like if you see his eye twitch or something like that, definitely look away. But yeah, everyone's different. Some people are, I wouldn't say squeamish, but some people are just like, when they see something like that happen, they're just like, oh my God, I need to like, it's kind of like a horror film to them.
Yeah, he should not have any kind of reactions or anything like that. But if he does, he'll let me know, and then we'll just stop and we'll keep running. You do give consent to us to record us doing this?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, there we go.
All righty, let's do it.
So the first thing that we do is, let me get this turned on, is we're going to put some leads on your ears. The leads on your ears act as the ground.
When do you want me to have my eyes closed?
I do need you to stand up for just a quick second. I'm so sorry. I just need to move this away a little bit. All right, you can. Okay, there you go. And then try not to lean on the table much because I'm going to have the wires here. And if you move your arm in a sudden thing, and it could knock off the.
So I even got to
machine.
sit still too.
Well, you just got to just get comfortable. So. And then you just asked a question. What did you ask a second ago?
I said I got to sit still.
Yeah, you gotta sit still. So like I said, these act as the ground that are going on your ears, and that just helps the machine function. So we'll put one here. And it's not shock therapy. A lot of people joke around and they come in like, "You're gonna shock my brain." And one guy who's really hilarious, he'll zzz, and I'm like, "That's not how it works." So if you do that, don't worry, it won't freak me out because people do it to me all the time. But you shouldn't feel anything outside of what you're feeling in this moment right now. See what I mean? You see, I knew you'd have jokes. All right.
I mean, you opened the door to that one.
I did intentionally. All right, so the first thing I do is I have this little cotton ball here and I dip it in some salt water. Salt water helps conduct. So when I was having some problems trying to figure out for a while where my feedback was coming in the machine, it came to realization that, sometimes if you use salt water, it helps with conducting. I use rubbing alcohol. You're not allergic to any of that kind of stuff, right?
Nope.
Rubbing alcohol is to help break down the particles after I'm done putting the sticky stuff on your head to try to get it out of your hair because it will stick in your hair. And then this stuff is just the paste just helps to stick it on your head so that I don't have to hold it. So, and then we have NeuroPrep, which helps us kind of like, when somebody gets an ultrasound done and they put that stuff on their belly and then they put the thing on it so you can see through, that's this stuff. So it just kind of helps us to see through, and then the map, it'll gather the information on the screen for the map that will show you afterwards.
She's gonna deep dive into the brain of B-rad.
I'm scared.
I think you're outside of MRI. I think you're the first one to ever do that.
Okay, well, there's always a first time for everything.
Yeah, there is.
So I'm going to clean the area first.
If I knew we were gonna do this, I wouldn't have done my hair today.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I won't mess it up too badly.
It don't matter. It's just like, I should have just not done it. But we didn't decide we were going to do that until we planned out the episode in our meet before we start shooting.
And then we're like, okay, you know what? We're going to give we're going to give him a treatment today.
Thanks to her husband, Lewis, who's in the other room, by the way, just said, let's do it and do the host.
Do the host. Yeah, he didn't want to be my volunteer. Look at him.
Hey, he's listening to you. He didn't say anything.
He's following instructions, remember?
Happy wife, happy life.
Yep. All right, you're going to close your eyes. You're going to relax. Clear your mind as best as you possibly can. And we'll get going in just a second. All right, here we go. And then in real time, it's going to show me your brain waves as we're doing this. All right, here we go. Did you feel anything?
No.
You shouldn't have.
But that is cold.
It is cold. The rubbing alcohol is cold. Going to your third eye.
Dominique should take a picture of this when it's all on, too. We'll use it as a still for the YouTube.
All right. Clear your mind. Close your eyes. Close your eyes, relax. You doing okay?
Yep.
Perfect.
Quit wiggling.
Move that.
No.
Is it bothering you?
Yeah.
Just be clear, it's not me that's bothering you, right? It's
No,
the
it was
camera.
Dominique Evans, whatever it was on my leg.
All right, close your eyes. Move on.
And you two can talk and talk about what's going on, so no one has complete silence on the video.
Yeah, can. So when doing lens, usually I do the first map in like a clockwork motion around the brain. It usually can help with like anxiety and calmness. So I usually do that most of the time on everybody, because who doesn't need some calmness in their life?
Right.
So that's what we're doing today. And then when we're done, we'll be able to see what sites of B-rads are suppressed and which ones are kind of struggling. And I even have a little spreadsheet we can share that tells you which site controls what. Like in the back is sleep, nightmares, and the front is like anxiety, PTSD, depression, OCD, compulsive stuff, and then some of them motivation, long-term and short-term memory. And so we'll take a look and see which sites exactly are kind of his problem sites. And then that map that we're doing today will help guide where the treatment goes next.
Oh. So I've noticed that you come to the computer, you click your mouse.
Mhm.
So what's happening on the computer?
That's a great question. So the computer is showing me live time of what his brain waves are doing. We want the mean dominant frequency to be between like a 3 and a little less than a 10.
Okay.
It's like a 3 and an 8. Some of the feedback could be the camera stuff, but it could also be outside influences as well. Like I said, we have that little machine out there, that flashy light thing that keeps messing with me. So then we go on here and then we pick the sites. So we're doing right now T5 and T6.
Okay.
And then we hit start and it tells us what each channel is doing, the mean dominant frequency that it's in, and the different patterns that are going on here is the mean dominant frequency.
Wow.
And so we can actually see his brain waves working in real time. Now, if he was thinking about something or moving around or anything like that, these little spikes will spike. But what we're seeing here is kind of it's good area. So his brain's in a good area right now, so that's good. I'd like to see it more on a 2 for the mean dominant frequency, but it's not bad. It's a little higher, but it's not bad. So that's what we see going on the screen.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of neat the way it all kind of ties in together. Our brain is just our little computer board, and we're in here communicating with it right now, telling him, hey, slow down, do what I want you to do.
Which we all know doesn't always happen.
No. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Let's do. That one doesn't want to say.
And again, I know this looks and probably feels like this is such a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, like you said, this is more so going on for like 5 to 7, maybe up to 8 minutes.
Up to 8 minutes, yes, because right now we're only doing 100% at 2 seconds. So if we do 11 times 2 seconds, whatever that math may be, I don't know what it is up front, but
22 seconds.
It's really not that long, 22 seconds. And so really what's taken the most amount of time is me moving around, getting it on each different site and doing that. But yeah, it doesn't really take that long. Like I said, schedule them for like an hour because I understand people have things that they want to talk about. Some people are processing a lot of different things, need somebody to talk to, whatever. So I schedule the appointments for an hour so that the client can come in, tell me how they've been doing, what they're experiencing with lenses. Are they noticing differences? Are they struggling with anything in their life they want to talk about? And then at the end, we will then do lens, and lens will kind of help process the stuff that they're going through and help filing it and different aspects of the brain that helps to say, hey, that's not such a big problem now, is it? So it's interesting how the brain knows how to take that information and put it in file cabinets of our brain of, not affecting us like it would before lens. So
Wow.
it's kind of cool.
And I know some people will watch this and be like, well, you're kind of low key tricking the brain. Kind of like, but like you said, it's more like a reset, more like, like you're just kind of resetting those neurotransmitters to say, hey, we need you to function more properly. We need you to be more open.
We need to clear out the junk that's in there.
Yep.
So whenever we get suppressed sight, it's because there's too much junk in there. And so the neurotransmitter is no longer communicating with the synapse to send the signal to the rest of your body to tell it what to do. And so this is freeing up that congestion. A lot of times the way I like to describe it is, when you are on the highway in your vehicle, right? Your brain is the vehicle. And there becomes congestion on the highway. Where does that vehicle go? Nowhere. Stand still. This is freeing up the congestion, getting that vehicle moving again, getting that neurotransmitter to do what it needs to do to keep functioning.
Man, that's cool. So it's really interesting, like how our brains store so much,
everything,
and then we don't realize that at some point we need to clear our mind. But some people think, clearing my mind, clearing my head means I'll go, to the mountains somewhere and scream for 30 minutes, or go to, a speakeasy or something and smoke a bowl. But it's like, are those things really, really helping you in a way? Or is it really clearing your mind? Or is it just kind of putting a Band-Aid?
Putting a Band-Aid on a crutch.
Yep.
A crutch. This is all holistic. It doesn't take any medications to do it. It communicates in the brain and it helps to reset it on the way that the brain knows. It's all holistic. Those things may work for some people. But when we're thinking about marijuana, marijuana actually can change your brain structure in a way that doesn't change back. So are you really doing it any justice?
Yes.
Not saying that it doesn't help.
But in the long run,
because it can affect memory and there are statistics that can prove that marijuana can cause anxiety. So if somebody says, I have anxiety, are you making it worse? But I don't know, I'm not a person that works on marijuana, so I shouldn't probably go into all that.
well, but that's the thing with substances, pretty much all across the board, is that you're really just suppressing, you're just putting a Band-Aid over a much bigger problem.
Short-term solution for a long-term problem.
Yep. And this would, kind of help be more of a long-term or longer-term solution.
This is going into the brain, and it's kind of like a reset to a healthy brain.
That's good.
This is the last one, by the way. All right, how you feeling? You doing okay? Not feeling anything outside the normal?
No.
There you go.
So when did this lens treatment stuff be discovered and stuff? When did it start?
I don't know the exact year when it started, but I've been doing it for 8 years. So probably about maybe 10 years ago, because it was around at least a couple of years before I even started doing it.
So it's actually fairly new treatment in a way.
Fairly, yes. They have been doing a lot of research on it, which we were involved in the beginning, to help get it evidence-based so that it can be billable to insurances. So it is evidence-based and fairly new, but it's working. So why not use it if it's working, right?
Right.
I do feel a calmness though.
As you should, because usually the map will help to invoke a little bit of a calmness. Plus, I think just sitting there with your mind clear and quiet usually will help to invoke some of that calmness too. And then if we take a look, I don't typically with lens when we're doing our trainings and stuff, we're not typically, said to go, share the lens reports with the clients, because anything could make a report kind of look different. For example, if you didn't drink enough water before you came in, if you're having lots of sugar before you came in, or an energy drink, this map may not look like what it should if you were just in here without all that stuff. But I still like to show people it because I think it's important you guys know what we're doing and what it looks like. So you have a lot of low sites, my friend. Are you okay with sharing this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we want to see blue. We usually won't see blue until we get to 3-ish. So this is kind of where we're at. Your problem sites right now are F3, FZ, T6, FP1, and C is, well, pretty much all of these ones right here that are pretty low. These ones are a little bit higher. Once we get to a 3, which should be right about here, that's when it will start to be unsuppressed. And so you got some that are pretty good sites that are still suppressed, but all your sites are suppressed right now. But those are your trouble areas. And then I'll have to pull up my cheat sheet because I can promise you I don't have it memorized.
Why not?
You remember 21 sites. I'm trying to remember school right now, so I got to have priorities. Let's see if it'll pop up here. Yeah, little guy. All right. So when we're getting in here, this little thing, and I'll print this out for you so that you have it, so you can, and I'll print out your map so you can have it as well. It will tell you. So we said your problem area was F3. F3 is like barely functioning at all. And so F3 is up here. I'll make this smaller so you can actually see the whole thing. OCD, depression, improved cognitive processing, executive planning, concentration, reasoning, impulse control, ADHD, and self-control. Not saying that you have a problem with every single one of those areas, but if you have a problem with any of those areas, it kind of points exactly to F3 being your problem site. That's the site that you have the most suppression in. The next one that you have suppression in is going to be FZ, which is pretty much just as low. Motor, focus, motivation, mental flexibility, ADHD, and movement. ADHD is in both of them. And then we have T6, which is another one. And T6 is over here, and that's anger, rage, dyslexia, long-term social facial recognition, long-term memory and anxiety. So there's that anxiety you were saying that you were having. So those are the main problem areas. FP1 is also one, and that one is where we got depression, irritability, improved cognitive processing, executive planning, intrusive thoughts, emotional discontrol, reasoning, concentration, impulse, ADHD, and self-control.
So with you looking at it being the expert, what does that tell you?
It tells me you have some problems going on that you would like to work on. I'm not going to diagnose you because this lens is not for diagnosis. Lens doesn't, and I'm glad you asked that because lens does not treat diagnoses, it treats symptoms. So in saying that FP1, it says depression on there, it doesn't say that you have depression. It's stating that any symptoms that come along with depression, you will see if you're struggling with FP1. So yeah, whatever stuff comes with depression, like sadness and loneliness and not being motivated and all of those things. And so your next treatment, what I would do if I was working on this is I would take the sites that aren't doing as bad because we want movement quicker. And lens is like throwing a pebble in a lake. You throw a pebble in the lake, what do you get?
Ripple effect.
Ripple effects. And so as I'm treating P4, it's still going to treat the other sites, just not as strong because I'm targeting P4, but we want to get movement quicker. So why would I start on the struggling sites that are going to take longer to fix if I can also start on the ones that aren't so bad first and get those moving quicker? And then it will help to get the other ones moving as well. So your next treatment that I would do would be P3 and P4, O1 and O2, F3 and F4, C3 and C4. And I always start at the lowest setting and work my way up because I never know if somebody's sensitive or not. I mean, we have paperwork that you'll fill out that kind of helps determine if you're sensitive or not. But sometimes people, when they answer those questions, they may think that they're sensitive, but their brain is really like you're not. Or they may think that they're hardy, which means not sensitive, when they really are sensitive. So I just, rule of thumb, I start low and slow, and then I kind of gradually move around to find out what site works best for you. So there's narrowband, broadband, 100%, 1%, different ways that we can go. There's a whole lot of different settings that we could work with to see what helps. Also, if people are struggling with sleep issues, delta and theta are the brain waves that kind of control sleep. And so therefore, if you're having a lot of sleep problems, we can target a treatment that's specifically to lower data theta below a 0.5 to help with sleep as well. And so when we look in here into the settings, you can see here that I have a whole lot of different settings that we can use. All of these are the different settings that we could use. So we just kind of play around until we find the one that really works for you. I find though, a lot of times with addiction and stuff, people are pretty hardy. I think they teach that in their trainings as well. And hardy means not as sensitive. So usually we don't need to start as low, but I do anyways, just in case. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's pretty cool how it all works.
And it lines up with some of the things that she was asking me before we did it too. I'm like, yeah, I got anxiety. The depression's lower because of, I do ketamine therapy with around the block healthcare and stuff. So very interesting thing to
Actually
do.
see it. Well, and a lot of people too, after they see the map, they're like, oh my goodness. I asked them beforehand, what are you struggling with? And then we do the map and it's low on all the sites that they mentioned they're struggling with. And I didn't put nothing in there to tell her to do it. So it's literally your brain saying, yes, look, these are the problems and here we can work on it. So it frees up those neurotransmitters, gets them flowing again so that it communicates with the body to say, hey, that's not the problem. It's not a problem no more. We're resetting it. So all holistic, no medications involved. So.
Nice.
Interesting. Well, you got to see the lens treatment. You got to see a little bit of New Hope counseling. I'm sure we're going to look at this and other features because she really wants people to understand this lens. And there's no, I don't think, any other way to show it besides showing it. And so be on the lookout for the next feature with a New Hope counseling and learning about what they could do with the DUI. Don't forget, use Showcase for them to get a free intake. And then thanks to our sponsors as well, Brandy with Pendleton Heating and Cooling. Right now, Showcase gets you $500 off a new AC, and trust me, it's hot out here. So let's get you your new AC. I Heart Mac and Cheese, both Woodman and Pueblo. The Showcase code gets you buy one, get one free. Nostalgia with Griff at the Citadel Mall. You get your character pins for $5 instead of $8.99 with Showcase. Snooze, you get pancakes free with no purchase necessary. So if you are like, I don't have any money to get food today, just go to Snooze, get you a water and a pancake. You're not going to get any judgment there. And then if you're down in Pueblo, Roots and Rose, Showcase gives you buy one, get one 50% off on their drinks as well. And don't forget Lugs and Plugs. Use the word Showcase to get your, after your brakes and rotors jobs, you get a 6 quarts of oil free as well. Thanks for tuning in to the Small Business Showcase. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and be on the lookout for future features with different small businesses.
Thousands of tears later.
And we're back with the Small Business Showcase. So it's been, let's say, about 4 days now that we did the beginning part of the feature that you guys just watched. And we are now doing the follow-up part of the lens therapy to see if I felt anything, did anything like that.
What your experience was.
There we go. Better wording for it. So she's going to be asking, Leanne here with New Hope Counseling is going to be asking me the questions. And don't forget, use the word Showcase. You can get a free intake, especially if you need help with any kind of DUI service here in the state of Colorado. So throwing it to you now, my friend.
Okay, so when we did your map, we were able to see that all of your sites are pretty suppressed. With some of these ones down here, FP1, T6, FC, and F3, pretty non-existent. And after doing the map session, typically the map we do it in words like a calming effect. And usually it's very subtle, so you usually don't feel a whole lot until like maybe the second or third day. What were you experiencing?
Yeah, later on in the day, I realized that I was feeling a little bit more calmer. Like my mind wasn't reeling because my mind does run 24 million miles a second a day. And that's where I know I have a lot of anxiety. And then the next day on Monday, I went to around the block healthcare because I do ketamine therapy, which is, a new style of drug that helps you disassociate and get into your mind and actually find neural patterns. I think I'm saying that wrong, but where it opens up your stuff that's deals with trauma and suppressed stuff as well. And after that session was more, I was more open with that session. I was able to get a little bit deeper in my head. And then after that, I was calm and just went to sleep. And then Wednesday, I went back and had the ketamine therapy with the therapist. And we did stuff where because I told her about the lens therapy. She's like, oh, well, let's do this. Have me close my eyes and imagine in my chest what was there. And I said how it was like a cement and talked about how a little bit of the cement was breaking open and colors were shutting out. And she said it was my soul being suppressed.
Great.
And so I feel that it's possible with just the little bit that we did with that calming effect, plus the ketamine has really helped me get it more into my mind and subconscious these last few days than I have in my entire 4 years of treatment of my mind.
It's like a whole body experience, it seems like, because she's talking about suppression in your body and your spirit, and then we're clearing up suppression in the mind.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a whole body experience.
And then the ketamine helps open it up more too as well.
Yeah, very good. Good. I've never really had anybody say that they did lens and then right afterwards went and did ketamine. So it's interesting to see how these two will, coordinate together.
That's why our features are so special.
Absolutely. So, you said calming effects. Anything else that you were noticing? Any wired or tired or any kind
I
of?
slept better than I have ever slept, and I've stayed asleep throughout the night.
Nice.
Now, granted, it's probably the combining of both, but if we're finding out that these two are the two things to help people, then this is definitely something that definitely needs to be looked into more.
Absolutely.
And then we just need to get you and around the block partnered up together.
No problem at all. I'd love to know more about it because, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about ketamine because I'm more all holistic stuff, but it'd be interesting to learn about it.
So, what other questions do you have when it comes to this lens?
So, when it comes to lens, we already had you just because of confidentiality. I'm not going to share what you said, but we usually will address the 3 areas that you have the most concern with, which is the 3 we already picked here. And then we go through from the map and we would pick what your next sites are if you continue to do lens. And usually with lens, we start with the best sites and we work our way down. We don't want to work on the ones that are really struggling first because those are going to take a while when we can get these ones moving a lot quicker. And so we would pick out your next sites, and what they would be is I always do the left and right brain at the same time. So we have the correlating sites that match up. So we'll do P3 and P4. And so that's left brain and right brain. It's the back part of the brain. And then you have O1 and O2, F3 and F4, and then C3 and C4 would be the next sites. And then since you were already kind of noticing some calmness and better sleep and whatnot, that's a good sign. It's showing that you are having good progress with it. That lower setting is probably not a bad setting to start at. And so we would start you at 100% for 15 seconds. And then as we do lens, the more we do it, the more you're noticing things. As long as you're like, yeah, I did notice a lot calmer, or, if I had anxiety, it's a little bit lower, then we know to stay there. But if you're having a couple of weeks where you came in, you're like, I'm not noticing much of a difference, then we start to move your settings around to find out what setting is really fitting for you. So it sounds like you had a pretty good experience though for your first map, right?
I don't know because it's just been a one thing. We're gonna have to continue moving forward just to see the difference.
Is that something that you want to do?
Yeah, I think it's something that we should look into, especially with the ketamine and stuff. Because if we find because I've dealt with so much stuff in trauma in my life. Like this year's coming 30 years since my dad died, and then my best friend recently dying, and just so much trauma in my life that if we could finally find something that will help people not be on pills the rest of their lives and stuff, like this is definitely something to look into even more and learn about.
Absolutely. Definitely helps with trauma. It definitely helps with memories and reprocessing things. I like to, when I do lens, a lot of the times I like to schedule them for hour appointments, because the first 30 minutes I like to let the individual talk about any kind of things that they like. If they have like some trauma or questions or concerns, or they're having a really bad week and they need somebody to bounce it off of, I find that it usually works really well to do that in the beginning of the session, and then lens kind of helps to process that. And so it just helps get a calm. It lowers anxiety. It helps with depression, PTSD, all of that. ADHD.
All those stuff that
Autism.
everyone has.
Yeah, autism. Yes, yes, fibromyalgia with pain. Oh, that's the other thing too. We have body lens. So if anybody comes in and they're having pain in their neck or their arm or their legs, we can also put the machine set up for body lens and treat those areas, and it usually will make the pain go away pretty quickly.
Maybe we should do that as a future feature for New Hope Counseling. And so if anyone is on right now that does have fibromyalgia and wants to try it, hit us up, comment, like, subscribe, and we'll show you what that could be for the next feature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's good that you are already having some positive effects, especially with using the ketamine in it. I'm going to have to do some research to see how the two correlate together. I'm imagining ketamine will help open up the mind and lens will help process it. Or maybe they both will help process it, which may make things heal quicker.
Perfect. Is there any other questions or anything we need to add to this before we close out for this feature here?
I don't think so. Not for this feature. It's just, we would set up the next sites and then do the next treatment. Right now, we're good.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning into the Small Business Showcase. We'll see you next time.